Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is our Simple Abundance year. We're following along in Sarah Breathnach's book, Simple Abundance. And it's January 2020. We're getting into the principles now individually in individual daily entries. And if you're following along on my channel, you'll know that I just did a video on Monday about gratitude. And yesterday's entry also, I didn't do a video on it, but it was talking about the gratitude journal itself, which I did mention my own practice and also a couple of other things in that video. So check it out if you haven't seen it yet. So I'm wondering, have you started? Remember, gratitude is at the foundation of everything here and all of the principles that we're talking about this year. And the principles are joy, beauty, harmony, simplicity, order, and gratitude. So today's entry, this is January 15th, is about simplicity. That's the second one on the list. And you may remember from another video as well when I introduced the principles just all as one in that early January entry, that Sarah mentions that they're all intertwined and that they all sort of have a flow and lend to each other. So it makes sense that when you start to become more grateful for things in your life and you really are taking stock of things, that simplicity would be the next thing. Because what is simplicity all about? And as I thought about this and talking to you guys about it, I really was struck with the thought that out of all the principles, this one might be the most personal. Because yes, we can read what Sarah says about simplicity and get a sense of what she's saying as it being a principle along the path. But in terms of what a simple life is, that could look and feel very different among us all. So what does the simple life mean to you? Does that mean living in a little cottage and having very little in the way of belongings? Or does it mean living in a luxurious way but really savoring everything that you have, whether you have a lot or a little? I think for me, when I think about simplicity, I think more about making things easier. That's in addition to maybe paring things down. I think of it more as, what can I do to simplify my life, to cut down on any chaos or the monkey mind that might go about certain things. Like, for instance, right now I need to replace the key to my car, like the one that has the buttons on it, you know, to open and close. Because in this cold weather, it's like inconsistently opening and closing, and then I just worry that like it might break off in the lock, and then how am I going to get anywhere? So right now, I not only have that key on my ring, but I also have the manufacturer's key that doesn't have any of the buttons. So I'm using that one to open and close it when I can't get it to open. So anyway, this is something that would be easily rectified if I just go and get the new key, right? So what do I do when things like this come to my mind? Well, I do have a page in my journal that I mentioned that I list out anytime that there is something that I feel like I'm giving a lot of mental energy to that could absolutely be easier, then I take note of that. And my goal is, after writing it down in my journal, that I have a solution that I do give precedence to, so that I can get rid of that extra mental energy that I'm putting towards something that really most things have an easy end solution. Like another thing I'm thinking of, and this is like 2 years ago, I do have 2 computers in my home office, and you know, only one of them has email, the other one is the one connected to the printer, things like that. And so it was a matter of a simple thing was networking them. So that's something that came about of me recognizing that I needed to make things easier. And maybe even you might be thinking, why don't you just have one computer? Well, that's a whole other story. But simplifying things to make things flow so that you're just not giving extra energy to problems or things that could be easier. And then as far as simplifying to pare down belongings, you may start to be looking around at your life and wanting to reduce clutter, or just realizing that you only are using one particular set of dishes or something like that, and that you really just love one of them and the other one's just superfluous. So you will probably start to realize there are things that you can let go of. And when you declutter, it is a very freeing experience. And I'm not going to sing because I sang recently in another entry, but Sarah does start off this entry with the shaker hymn. And at the end of it, when she talks about once you've achieved simplicity, or if you take simplicity as the gift, then 'twill be in the valley of love and delight. So when you're really feeling grateful for everything and delighting in everything, then a lot of times you'll realize you just don't need as much as you thought you did. I think about my own life, and a few years ago I made a move and moved a 3-bedroom house and just furniture that I'd had for 10 plus years, and belongings like tons of Christmas decorations, which do you really need all of those things that you might use for a month or two out of the whole year? And so when I moved the next time, I just knew that it was not only just going to be cumbersome to move all of those things, but it was just time to do like a giant life purge. I've never done that before. And I know that that's a unique situation and not everybody will have that opportunity, but I did get rid of just about everything. At least most of my furniture. The only things I saved were very small pieces that either had like a sentimental, someone like had made them for me, or I could fit them in my car, but nothing really major. And I kept some furnishings for my walls and curtains and my clothes, basically. But I did pare those down as well. But it was amazing the way that I felt just letting go of all that stuff, because I had been holding on to it for so long. And just like the multiple sets of dishes or something like that I mentioned, when you do let go of things, it's so freeing. And then when I moved into the place that I'm at now, I only brought in things that I knew that I was going to really love. So I was able to just sort of redecorate my whole life in a sense too, because I got rid of the old things, because you know, sometimes you've had a photo or something on the wall for years, and it might even remind you of things in your past that you're also just ready to let go of. So this time I started fresh, and I get compliments on my home because it definitely is apparent that Carolyn lives here, and it speaks from my soul. So I'm not suggesting that you go out and sell everything tomorrow, but if you have the opportunity to pare down, and we will talk more about some of the things that she suggests as far as simplicity goes later on in the book and going room by room. But for now, if you have the opportunity to do something like that, I have a feeling that you would find it also a very freeing experience. And then you can make room for more in your life when you let go of things. So a couple things she says about simplicity. I really like how she talks about simplicity does not mean that you're just going without. On the contrary, she says true simplicity is a conscious life choice. It illuminates our lives from within. True simplicity is both buoyant and bountiful. able to liberate depressed spirits from the bondage and burden of extravagance and excess. True simplicity can elevate ordinary moments, dreary lives, and even inanimate objects. So I'd really like to know what you guys think simplicity means. What does it mean to you? And have you ever done a sort of life purge like I mentioned? Or do you also like my idea or have yourself a similar list like I do as far as trying to simplify things when you can identify what's causing you anguish or excessive mental energy? Sarah also talks about how that simplicity could be even just so much as only thinking about one thing at a time. In our daily experience now, that is a true gift, isn't it? We're so used to multitasking and just being in 5 places at the same time. So whether it's carving out time for yourself to just think, or structuring your day in such a way where you're just really focused on one particular thing, that can definitely be a gift. So there's a lot that goes into there's many layers to this simplicity principle. And I'll just close with what she says at the end here. Trust that through the balm of simplicity, your frazzled and weary soul can discover the place where you ought to be. Every day offers us simple gifts when we're willing to search our hearts for the place that's right for each of us. So what are your simple gifts? Those are probably things that are on your gratitude list, I bet. See what I mean? This is all an interwoven experience. We're putting together our tapestry of contentment. Thanks again for watching, and please like and subscribe, share the channel, bring along some more buddies for our journey, and tune in tomorrow, because tomorrow we will be talking about the next principle, which is sometimes not everybody's favorite, or if you're really organized, it is, and that will be order. So I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.